proceed then, again, with discussed communications. Would you like to start over?
Sure. So I've been being contacted, I have been getting contacted, fire departments, police chiefs, different things about communication issues in dispatch. They feel that they can't go talk to sheriff or dispatch over there to get things changed, to make it better for the officers and public. Status checks, different things like that on the officers. Fire departments and EMS getting paged out correctly. Different things like that. They all feel it's coming to a safety issue that's not being addressed, basically being ignored, pushed to the side, is the overall aspect of it on what their complaints are. Some of the communication stuff is being, like I said, status checks, officers being on the side of the road, the PD officers or whatever, being on the side of the road, searching vehicles, not getting a status check. That's dangerous. Their backs are to them, I refer to them patients, but those suspects or whoever out of them vehicles, their backs are turned to them. They don't have a cover unit. They're not being status checked, so they feel that's a safety concern for themselves. Some of them are having to call status checks for the officers in place of dispatch because they're not doing it. So that's some of the bigger concerns that most everybody's worried about. Fire departments, they've been getting paged out for traffic control issues on the interstate. Get there and they're having to cut cars open to get people out or get animals out of cars and stuff when they're only being told it's traffic control. So they're not being paged out correctly. Correct apparatus is not being taken to the right tools. Personnel aren't showing up because you tell them traffic control. Not many people are going to just jump up and, hey, I'm going to volunteer to stand on the side of 45 for 30, 45 minutes to direct traffic. Yes, at some point that's when it will get done, but if it's not being paged out correctly to start with, and you get there, you don't have the right truck to cut someone out or animals out of a vehicle, now you're behind the eight ball because you're not being paged out correctly. So that's just some of the issues from there. Y'all have anything you want to add to it?
Well, yeah, I don't want to turn this into try to make sure we don't turn this into a blame game. We've worked with the sheriff's office for quite a while, with the sheriff and with the chief dispatch and so on and so forth to get things done and try to make things better. It just seems like we're not making any headway. It seems like it's an uphill run and we're just not getting there. So if we could do something and I know our communications as a whole needs, and I'm sure everybody that uses it will agree, needs a whole revamp. We need a lot of extra work on the communication stuff, and it's not just for one group. It's not just for law enforcement, it's not just for EMS, and it's not just for fire. It's for everybody, okay? And communications is our lifeline. And if we don't have a good lifeline, whether it be if you're in a house and then you need to communicate to incoming units, you can't do it. My walkie-talkie, the radio that I carry on my hip, won't get out of 90% of the houses that you go into. Okay? Now there's other devices out there, Bluetooth things that we can do that ties in our truck around. A lot of times those don't work just because of the area we're in and the situation we're in. Now, when it comes to dispatch, we do have dispatchers that are not paging the correct fire department. They're sending one fire department in, it's not a competition, it's not an area competition, but when you're 1 mile from my station and you send somebody that's 8 miles, it doesn't make sense when someone's life is possibly on the line. Okay? And like you said, they're saying, well, it's traffic control. The last crash we worked, they paged it out as, well, they paged Fairfield, and nothing against Fairfield, by the way. They paged Fairfield to come to the 191, which is a mile from my station, for traffic control. Turned out it was a crash. And yeah, it was just a horse that was involved. The horse was okay. But we ended up having to cut the animal out of the trailer because the trailer was upside down. Hey, there's a delay in that. Had that been somebody, what is that delay going to cost? So what they did, I think the deputy said it's paid due, and they paged Fairfield to tell them to discontinue, and then paged us. So you're looking at a timeline. So when someone's life is on the line, you're dealing with seconds, not minutes. Okay? So you really need to get the correct help there as quick as you can. And those are things that we've discussed with the sheriff's office before. And it needs to be an ongoing discussion, but we need help with it. We need, whether it's y'all's help with funding or whatever, there's got to be something done that improves the communication, or it's going to cost somebody, I'm afraid. Our fear is we're going to lose another life because of the lack of proper communications. And I'll leave it at that.
I want to bring up the actual radio as the system as a whole. And Leonard's worked hard on it, and the sheriff has been a part of it, but Tig is 9 miles away from Fairfield, and our pagers do not work. They'll beep at you, but that's all you get. So we have guys showing up to the station that has no idea what we're even going to, because we can't. The static is so bad that we have no knowledge of what's going on. And there in Tig, we was told, well, y'all need to add this page extender to the system. And it's what, $6,000 for this page extender? Well, you talk to the chief that's been there for 20 some odd, 30 years, never needed it. Assistant chiefs, you never needed that. And I've been there for, I think, 6 years now, and for 5 of those years, our pagers have worked great. But now all of a sudden, they're messed up and we need this new piece of equipment. It's 9 miles. I don't feel like we need the same equipment that Southern Oaks needs, being 20 miles away when we're the closest city to Fairfield, but we can't know what we're going to, even inside of our trucks. If we're going to the scene, we can barely talk to dispatch because of the static or the low volume, or there's problems there that's not, nobody can seem to fix for us. And I don't know if it's Huffman or if it's Nowcom, or if them two can't figure it out. We need to find somebody in the state that can help us here, because like Monty said, this is somebody's life. And if I don't know what I'm going to, I can't prepare myself or my guys. If that dispatcher tells us that somebody's in a burning house, we're about to risk all of our lives to save somebody. But if I can't hear what that dispatcher says, and if they tell us nobody's in the house, and I don't get that message, and I send somebody in, and heaven forbid they lose their life, that's coming back towards me because I didn't do my job, or whoever's in charge of that scene. So the radios as a whole, we got to figure out what's going on with them. Thank you.
I think that there has been, wasn't that what Gene was talking about, that they were working on that issue, the radios and what?
Yeah, so Sheriff, he knows the Hot Cog did a regional grant, and we got new voters and repeaters. New repeater here in Fairfield, new voters at the voter sites being Southern Oaks, Dew, Tig, and Wortham. Those new voter sites. Since doing that, pagers haven't been working, different things like that. I was listening the other day, law enforcement, you can hear them perfectly fine on their side. It's loud, crisp, clear, but the fire side, it's terrible. I've been trying, since that's got done, I've been meeting with them at least once a week, trying to figure out what we can do to make it better, to change it, and told them if we can't figure it out, we'll go back to the old stuff, because it was working fine. But I don't want to necessarily do that if we don't need to. So
It's hard to believe that the people that furnish those are somebody that works on radios doesn't know what to do.
Right.
Somebody's got to be able to figure that out,
Right.
don't they?
yes, ma'am, I believe so. And they're saying they can turn volume up on it, and it distorts the dispatchers even more to where you can't hear them any better. So they turn it back down.
Maybe we need
So
something different than those. Maybe we need something different.
possibly,
I have no clue as
I
to
think
what
we need somebody
would
different.
fix it, I'm just saying.
Right.
whatever avenue we have to take, I'm sure we're gonna take that to make it.
Right, right. So Nowcom, who's put the repeaters and stuff in, and Huffman's, they're both supposed to be here tomorrow. I'm supposed to meet with them again to see if we can look at the console side in dispatch, see if there's an issue there, or if it's, and try to isolate where the issue is to try and figure it out. And we're having to do both of them because we're still, Nowcom put in repeaters and voters, but we're still using Huffman equipment to help integrate everything. So that's we're trying to get them both together to try and see if that will make it better.
I'm in the same boat with my radio. I talked to the sheriff about it. I had to replace my radio. When I first put the radio in my vehicle, I told Huffman, they're gonna upgrade the radios eventually. I need it so it's compatible to the upgrade. He told me it was, but it's not. It can pick up digital, but it won't pick up the digital P25 that they have. So I have to replace my radio just because of that. I still have the regular channel that they have, but if they're on the digital channel and I'm on the other channel, I could be serving papers on this block and the deputy could be on the other block getting his butt whipped and I won't even know he's getting hurt. Unless I hear a gunshot, I don't want to get to that. But there's a problem with it.
Well, as far as the equipment situation, y'all are working on that. Is there any, I mean, is there anything that we can do to assist the situation?
And the only thing that hadn't been replaced over there, Sheriff, is the console, right? Pretty much.
Yes.
But Hawk they're doing a regional grant for that. 2 new consoles is $100,000 to replace them. That's to get the consoles, all the wiring and everything you need to replace all of it. We're not 100% sure we're getting them yet. They have gotten a conditional approval on the project. So it's possible, but we're waiting to get the final approval to see if we got it or not. And then that would give,
How long will that be?
don't have a clue, we're waiting on the state. So it's coming from the state.
And that project's still a year away, even if
Right,
that-
and once it's approved, it may be late next year before it's ever put in. So, right now, we have to wait and see what Huffman's and Nowcom says tomorrow to know for sure where we stand as far as what we need to do today or tomorrow to get it in a better shape than what it is now.
Okay, can you bring that information back to us Wednesday?
Can. Yes, ma'am.
We have a meeting next Wednesday.
Yes, ma'am, I can do that.
I guess in my mind, the question would be, if we don't get a resolution from Huffman or Nowcom, are there funds available to bring somebody that knows what they're doing
That's what
here?
I'm saying, we need to talk about it Wednesday. If we don't get a resolution from that, then we need to see what our next step is.
Yes, ma'am.
So when the sheriff's department changed to the digital, they can't talk to the constables and you can't talk to them?
They'll still have the other channel with my radio. They'll be able to contact on that radio. But what I'm saying is if he's standing next to me and he's on digital and I'm not, I'm not gonna know what he's saying in 2 different cars, what I'm saying.
So
They're gonna be, and one of the reasons I believe they did it was to secure the radio to begin with. That was part of it, and make the radio better.
So if y'all are in a chase, you're chasing somebody down the road, he's talking y'all can't talk to each other on that radio?
He'll have to use the frequency, the current system we have now. But when they switch over to that other channel, when they have that other channel, that's why he's keeping both channels open, am I correct?
So this was a grant that y'all got?
Yes.
So why weren't the constables and everybody put on why weren't their radios upgraded like the regular deputies?
They have their own office.
They have their own what?
They have their own office. I've upgraded my office, and now I'm waiting.
I mean, but it was a grant. I mean, it was a grant, should it not?
The grant to upgrade our radios was in a grant. We paid for that. The grant itself was only for the voter boxes for the towers that we have.
Well, and I think it goes back to what the sheriff's talking, what he's talking about. It shouldn't be one office or the other office. It should be collectively throughout the county. The radio system should work for everybody that needs to be on it. It shouldn't matter whether it's the sheriff department, my office, or fire. We should all be on a system and compatible to communicate.
Yes.
And I can, if I replace my radio. Huffman told me when he put my radio in, that if they upgraded the radio, it would be, but it's digital, but it's not P25 digital. I'm not a radio man, so I have to leave it to them, but I'll just have to replace my radio.
When we talk about doing centralized dispatch, as far as looking down the road,
We will have that on the agenda Wednesday to discuss the steps and get it working.
but we would really need to know other options.
But
other
until
than what
then-
we're using now. Oh, yeah, I know, we can't wait, it's,
Because we're gonna have to do the building and, you know, do, whatever other steps there are to get that done.
negotiating to do.
Yes, negotiating is gonna be the question, whether we can work out a central dispatch. But that will be coming in the next couple of weeks.
The voters that y'all were talking about got put up, it was, when the radios got bad, was it once the voters got put up, could that be causing the problem?
That's when the problem started, was when the new equipment got put up. And I've been working with them just about every week, like I said, trying to come up with a solution on it. Hot Cog's been over here. They went around the county testing radios all through the county. They spent a whole day on it, trying to see where it's better, where it's worse, where there's absolutely no coverage.
You think if you buy something new to put in, that it's gonna make it better.
Right, but I mean, so looking at it, Southern Oaks has that repeater. It's right there off of 416 and 488 on the Tarrant County Water District system up there. That's the furthest one we have in the county, other than the one in Wortham. And Wortham and Southern Oaks have to be paged out differently than all the rest of the county because of how far away they are from Fairfield. So they have to page off of a different, special page channel is what Huffman's has it listed. They have to be paged that way. So when Southern Oaks gets paged, you don't hear them on the radio. You cannot hear them at all when they get paged. You just hear them checking route. Same with us over in Wortham. You may not hear it on the radio unless you're in Wortham. So, but that's what one of the solutions for TIG was, to put a page extender in TIG, where we've never had that issue before until this new equipment got put in. So I'm trying to figure it out with them to try and make it better for everybody on that side of it. But I don't know what the next step is until we meet tomorrow.
Okay, all right. Do you want to address any of the issues here?
Yeah, because a whole lot was just thrown out there. The radios, the only channel that's not working is 4, which is the fire channel. And it has been bad since the voters boxes were put in. And I've called, Leonard's been dealing with it, trying to get them to figure out what's wrong with it. So what the next step is, I don't know. Leonard's kind of taking that over to try to figure out what's going on. Because in a lot of our vehicles, we can hear the fire channel. So not sure why all that's happening. Let's see, for second, because we have 1, 2, and we have the fire channel, so 2 is going to still be, 2 still operable for everybody. Everybody can hear everything. 1, they cannot unless they have the upgrade to the digital channel. Well, that's why we haven't moved to it yet, because we don't want to keep them from being able to hear us. We need to communicate, so we're not moving to it yet. We've upgraded everything we have, and so now, and we already know Fairfield and Wortham, Fairfield, I think Fairfield, TIG, and Wortham all have the P25. TIG can already hear us. I haven't checked with Fairfield or Wortham as of yet, but they've all got the capability. So that's why we haven't moved to 1. So as of right now, that's not an issue, because we're trying to give everybody time to upgrade their stuff if they need to upgrade it. 2 or 3, as far as the dispatch, we've had problems. we've addressed problems after problems after problems. We talk to the fire departments constantly. You know, it's twofold. We get on them, we tell them what's going on, and every one of them will tell you, I've talked to them on every complaint. That's basically my job, is to field complaints. But also too, you know, in the last year to year and a half, we've been 4 dispatchers short. We've been training for a freaking year, if not more, everybody. And of course, some of these complaints come in on some of my regulars that I have. It's not, you know, they're in there, they're not doing anything on purpose. They're in there trying to do their best. And I think that, you know, things just get carried away in there. Whether it's extra calls or, I don't, you know, whatever it is. But it's not like we're not trying to address them. It's not like we're trying to not staying on them. I mean, we do. You know, and it's kind of like my jail. You know, you can only do so much, and you may be more short-handed than what you are now. And so we got to walk that fine line, and we got to be careful with how we handle things. But it is being addressed. There are some issues. I'm in agreement with everything they said today over the span of time. But it has gotten worse here in the last couple of years. Because it had improved quite a bit. They've even said that, but now it's starting to drop off again. Just need to, I personally think it's a lot of the shorthanded, what we were shorthanded and that kind of issue and that training, trying to do it, work and train all at the same time. I think that's a lot of the issue. But we'll stay on it, and we'll keep talking to them, and I'll keep filling the complaints. I mean, it's not going on deaf ears, I promise you. Any complaint I get, I'll always address with whoever it is. I'll find where the call is, who was working, and we'll handle it. So, it's getting addressed. As far as the radio, Channel 4, I don't know, we need to do something. I don't know what the problem is. Huffman and now, what are they? Nowcom, they don't seem to have found any problems, so I don't know how Channel 1 would affect Channel 4, but it seems like it has. So
when they added that stuff with those voters, they didn't take anything away. I mean, we confirmed that they didn't take something down.
They didn't take it.
Replace.
No, so what they did, the new voters they put in, all they did was pull the Huffman stuff out, and it's still there at all the tower sites. They didn't pull them out of there or anything, and hooked up their stuff is all they did. All the coax cable and antennas, everything else is still the same. And the power supply is all still the same. It's just the voter system itself that's different.
I can only say maybe it's the actual radio in the unit is not compatible with that system, and they're not figuring it out.
And I've been trying to research on that, because the new equipment we've got is Tate equipment. Huffman's isn't a dealer for Tate, so they can't work on it. That's why Nowcom was chose to do the project, or picked to do the project. So I've been trying to research and see, does Kenwood work better with the Tate equipment versus Motorola, or what other brands, Harris out there, L3 Harris, does it work better? Different things like that. So I've been trying to figure out what the solution is to make the whole system better, but I just don't know what it is. So.
Do other counties have these problems?
Sir?
Do other counties have these kind of problems?
No.
Like,
So in the region, no. So I work for Mahia Fire Department also. They just got the same equipment put in Limestone County, and we have no issue with it.
yeah, in our call, everybody now has an upgrade on that digital channel. In our call, and I think
and
we're
it
the
didn't
only.
affect what they had prior to this?
They had the same stuff we did here. They had Huffman equipment there, and we had it here.
Now, I don't know if they went digital all the way through.
So they're doing digital. They're going to make the fires channels all digital. The county there,
But they're not
it's
now.
not. It's not right now. But they're going to make it all digital. Every channel will be digital in Limestone County. The SO channel over there is digital right now. But as far as them getting the new equipment, the same stuff we got, they have no issues with it like we're having.
And they go digital over there with the fire department, will they have to change the radios out in each fire truck?
Yes. We're having, so Mahia, we're having to send, we ordered radios to put in our trucks that are, like he was saying, P25 capable. We ordered them, they're all P25 capable. We're having to send them back to Motorola so they can make them P25. So they have to put a digital link in all those radios. So it costs more for a digital radio than it does for a standard capable radio. So I was figuring it up for the county if we did, not as the county itself, but just in general, if we did do a digital channel for the fire side, it would cost upwards of 180, almost 200 grand just in radios to get everybody the radios they need. That's a big cost for a lot of our departments to do that in the county. Some of them don't have very much money to do that with. So I'm trying not to do that and put a burden on any of these fire departments. I'm trying to stick with this analog so we can all still operate on it if that's what we need to do, and try to make it better best I can. They're supposed to tomorrow put in a digital fire channel in that repeater for testing purposes, and that's it. Dispatch would be able to hear it, and that's it. Other than myself going around and testing it and seeing where it works better and doesn't work at all.
And see, our channel 2 is still analog as well. We don't have no problems.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, it's just that fire channel 4. And it's not the entire channel though. That when fire trucks, we can talk back and forth to each other fine. Okay, we can communicate okay. When they pages, you can't hardly hear the SO, you can't hardly hear the dispatch.
Because between the dispatch and the
What's coming out of the dispatch to the fire departments, you can't hardly hear.
I can sit inside the TIG fire station and I can hear Hill County, Limestone County, Leon County, sometimes Madison County clearly. But as soon as our dispatchers start talking to us, it's gone. We can't.
Well, I would say we've got to find out what the problem is before we know how to do a solution. So,
Right.
yeah. But something's got to be fixed.
And I don't know if it's consoles, because our consoles we have over there, they are outdated, they're aged. Not exactly sure on what year they are, but they're not the newest, best thing that we could have in there. So we are kind of working with older equipment in there. And like I said, 2 consoles, that's $100,000 to replace them. So, but if we possibly get this grant, I don't want to say go buy them and then we get a grant and have to turn it down for it. So
Well,
I don't know what the solution is.
For a year or so, we can't go on for a year or so.
I understand.
Not
Yes, ma'am.
being able to, so
Yes, ma'am.
maybe you'll know something for us Wednesday, and then we
I hope.
can figure out what the solution can be.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Is that, how much y'all's thought is, let's see. Maybe then we can figure out how to address it. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Sheriff. All right. Any comments from Commissioners Court members? If not, do we have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make it motion.
Second.
All in favor, aye. We're adjourned.